Good morning. I hope you're well today. I'm doing great. It's time for Midweek Motivation Live. I've been listening to some great gospel jams this morning, getting my attitude in check before I get on here to help you get your attitude in check. And today's title, we're going to be talking about making someone's day. I've been in here making my own day. God's been making my day this morning. It's a good morning. And hey, man, rocking out here before we get the show going, getting my attitude up. I like that. That's what I need to do to be able to bring something quality to you, right? Today's show, Midweek Motivation Live, you have more power to change your life than you think. Good morning. It's 10 o'clock. We had a date, right? And we are here, Midweek Motivation Live, with me, your midweek reset for faith, focus, discipline, and what? Purpose in life. Somewhere around you today, someone's having a rough morning. I woke up this morning not really feeling great. I was like, okay, I'm going out of town tomorrow. I'm going to be out of town for a few days. And I said, I don't have time to not feel good. And I just woke up not feeling all the way there. You know what I mean? And it's like you got to jump into your spirit, jump into your body and figure out what's going on and power through. And that's what I've done this morning. Powered through, getting everything in line, getting organized, getting my mindset right, my body right, and my attitude right to come and share with you guys, right? Maybe you're having a rough morning today. Maybe your alarm didn't go off. The kids were late. Your coffee was cold, or you spilled it in the car. I spilled my iced tea on myself in the truck the day before yesterday. I was like, it went everywhere, but I had to keep my attitude in check, right? It's just a little spilt tea. But sometimes that happens, right? Maybe you get to work this morning and your boss was already irritated with you, or your bills are piling up and your spouse is screaming at you and running around with their hair on fire. Whatever that is, maybe someone is just carrying something inside that's much heavier than you or I know, right? No one else can see that, but they're carrying it anyway. And here's the question I want to pose to all of us today. What if you could become the best part of someone's day? Last week we had last show we had a 10-step method of helping someone grow in life. Top 10 list, right? We did the top 10 list. But today is the easy one. I'm just coming to you, hitting you with something easy today. Maybe you could make someone's day, right? Not by solving all their problems or paying all their bills, right? We talked about that previously. You're not called to do all of that. But simply making some gesture that is going to be effective in changing the rest of their day and maybe their momentum going forward, right? Simply by noticing them, encouraging them, calling them out for something good that they did, helping them with a task at work, maybe that you can roll up your sleeves and jump in alongside of them and say, hey, let me help you finish that up real quick. Maybe we're behind on something and you're having a rough morning. Let me help you. Or just showing them that they matter in life, in the workplace, in your relationship, right? We spend a lot of time talking about changing the world, but most of us will change the world better one person at a time, one conversation at a time, one act of kindness at a time, right? So today I want to challenge us with something incredibly simple. Before your head hits the pillow tonight, intentionally make one person's day better. Can we do it? That's the challenge today. Can we make one person's day better? The comments are already lighting up. Miss Jackie, John, Cody, Gina, good morning, good morning. Cody says, do you feel like I do? I'm like, do you feel like I do? Peter Frampton, one of the best of all time. Man, Frampton comes alive. Good tunes, Cody. Cody's my rock and roll encyclopedia. We have so much in common on these old musicians that we love. Good to see all of you guys watching already today, liking, love, sharing the show. Let's jump into point number one. Point number one. Oh, I didn't even put my banner up yet, right? Goodness, today's banner, make someone's day. I was going to call it go ahead and make my day, but it's not up to you to make my day. You guys make my day every day. So today, maybe we can make someone else's day, right? Point one, notice people. And you're like, that seems very simple. I told you today's a simple show. But if you get it, you can change someone's life, right? Notice people. How hard is that? One of the simplest ways to make someone's day is also one of the most overlooked. Just notice them. We live in a world where people can be surrounded by hundreds of people and still feel invisible. How many of you know? I'm preaching to the choir. You can walk into a room of people you know, and they're all involved in other conversations with other people, and you may immediately have that check in your spirit or in your personality, in your brain, that says, I don't want to go interrupt someone's conversation. So you just wallflower it for a minute, right? You hang back. You scan. What do you do first? You scan the room and see, okay, who are my people and where can I go fit in? Some of you, and maybe you're like me. Some of you are extroverted because you have to be. Some of you are closet introverts and you're only extroverted because it's a job description that you're in or something. And some of you just don't care. You do a belly buster into the middle of every room and just say, hey, everyone pay attention to me. But everyone else around us could be moving fast, looking at screens, thinking about their next appointment, the next problem they have to solve, the next answer they have to come up with, their next responsibility they're worried about. And sometimes what that person desperately needs is simply to know someone saw them. We've done a whole show on this topic. I see you, right? Someone sees them, and that simple act of kindness, when you say, hey, I see you, let me help you, that makes someone's day, right? Solomon wrote in Proverbs that anxiety weighs down the heart, but a good word makes the heart glad. Think about that. One good word can lighten something another person has been carrying all morning long. Remember their name. Say their name. Talk to the cashier at the coffee shop. I am constantly trying to learn the names of all the people at Roasters because they come and go, but there's a bunch of them that have been around forever, and you see them every day, and you exchange pleasantries, and they know your order. Some of them know you by name, but they come and go, and sometimes you don't remember their name. And I'm so glad that I know Scott and Kristen and some of the other people and Martine at my particular Roasters and a bunch of them. And it's good when you get to know the regulars, but maybe you don't ever call them by their name, right? Hey, how are you doing? Scott, how are you doing? Krista, how are you doing? Martine, my brother. Simply remembering someone's name and saying their name out loud makes a huge difference. People love to hear their name in public, right? So talk to the cashier in the restaurant, the cashier in the supermarket, and you see their name tag. Hey, Barbara, how are you doing today? Hope your day is going well. That simple act of kindness can truly change the course of someone's day. Tell one of your employees who normally works behind the scenes that you appreciate what they do, making the magic happen for the people out in front of the other customers, right? Telling them that you appreciate them for what they do. Notice when somebody seems unusually quiet. That's something that I usually key in on pretty quick. If someone that I know is usually a little more talkative and for some reason they're unusually quiet, that's a key indicator something's going on. And it may just be that they're thinking about something heavily and they're in their nothing box, which my wife likes to call mine if I'm not paying attention to anything in particular. She'll say, are you in your nothing box again, babe? And I'll say, what? She'll say, you were. I'm not really thinking about anything. I'm just checking out, right? Giving my brain a break. Sometimes that's the case, but usually that quiet person, if they're unusually quiet, that's an indicator they just need a little encouragement or someone to come along and notice them and say hi and how can I help, right? You don't need a counseling degree to care about other people. As a realtor, I think I'm a licensed counselor already. That real estate license I have gives me a license to meddle in everyone's life. And it's usually not by my choice, it's by their choice. But hey, sometimes Patrick Lee's just here to make their day, right? You just need enough awareness to stop making every interaction about yourself. People need to know that you care about them, not you. I've had to consciously stop talking multiple times this week in a conversation because I became acutely aware that I was talking too much. And see, that's a blessed event when that happens to you and your brain tells you, hey, Patrick, shut up. Let them talk. You're talking too much. That's a skill. And sometimes it takes us a while to develop that. We start talking and we know about a topic and we are listening just long enough to be able to speak next, right? Sometimes that can be a problem and it's offsetting to other people. So maybe the best way to make someone's day today is just not talk as much and let them control the conversation. And they'll be going, wow, my input really made a difference. They really let me talk and let my opinions be made known. Those things are huge in some people's life. Jackie, yes, ma'am, absolutely correct. Joe, my sister from another mister. Ralph, good to see all of y'all watching today. Happy Wednesday. Sometimes you just have to stop talking long enough to let other people become known, right? People remember the moments when they felt genuinely seen and heard. Sometimes that moment is enough to remind them they're not walking through life alone. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 12, Proverbs is full of so much wisdom. It says this in verse 25, heaviness is the heart of man, maketh it stoop. Heaviness in the heart of man makes it stoop or bend down. But a good word makes it glad. Solomon is describing the real weight that worry and anxiety can place on people. Then he reminds us that words have the power to lift that weight off of them, even if only for a moment. Jesus himself said, cast your cares on me, for he cares for you, right? He said, take my yoke upon you. My yoke is easy. My burden is light. I'll help you carry it, right? You don't have to solve someone's life to improve their day. Boom. Point number 2, say the good things out loud. Sometimes you really think something good about someone and you're like, you notice something about them and you're like, hey, you had an observation. What good is that observation if you don't share it with anybody? How many times have you thought something like that? Very positive about somebody. Hey, they really look nice today. Oh, look, they actually took some concern with their appearance today. How about that, right? Oh, look, they brushed their hair. Oh, they've got on a new outfit. That's awesome. They got a hairstyle. They got new fingernails. It's weird because my wife, I take her for nail appointments, and my daughters and everyone I know now is so I start noticing fingernails. When the person at Pack-A-Sack hands my wife's sweet tea through the window, I go, wow, nice nails. Whenever someone's bringing my food, hey, nice nails. Where do you go? And they're like, oh, that's not something a grown man should be asking. Sure it is. I'm just noticing something different about them that I can compliment and go, hey, that's interesting. I've shown interest in them, something about something they have done that they did for themselves to make themselves feel better, and we notice it, right? Hey, that's a nice top. That's a nice outfit. Oh, you got a new outfit? That's great. Oh, look, you got a haircut. That's nice. Looks really good on you. These are all simple things we can do that make someone's day, right? Some of the times we notice those things and we don't say anything because, oh, well, that's someone else's wife. I probably shouldn't compliment them. Well, they're a waitress, they're a friend, they're whatever. You can say things complimentary without flirting, right? And you can do the same thing for guys. I'm just saying women do the same thing. They're complimentary. They say things that are flattering to men as well. And it's just being nice. But if you see those things about someone and it's like, hey, you brushed your teeth. Good job, dude. Hey, your breath doesn't smell today. You may not want to say that, but when you notice the good things they have done, compliment them. And that positive reinforcement can change their day. I know I'm going to get comments about that with the teeth brushing and the mouthwash. That's awesome. Good morning, Miss Debbie. Good to see you on today again as well. But many times we'll think those things and not say it. Sometimes someone handled themselves well in a conversation. Maybe it was conflict with a client or a customer. My wife and I have these discussions frequently when I pick her up in the evenings. How did it go? And she will share some stories of some clients and how they can be so angry until they understand the kind of blessings that my wife has available at her disposal to give them in some of the programs that they are involved with her company in at the bank. And when they understand that she's there trying to help them, their tone changes, right? And they're like, wow. And I get to compliment her and say, wow, you really handled that person well. I'm proud of you. Sometimes it's the things the conversations they have with their kids, and you can say, wow, that person is a really good dad. Wow, that dad is really involved in his kid's life. Wow, that mom is a good mom. My wife is an incredible mom, to both of our girls, and they call frequently. And sometimes she's like, I think I'm still too involved. Our girls are 30 and 33, and we're still involved in their life because they love us and trust us, and we want them to do well, so we stay involved, right? That's what good parents do. We constantly have to give them positive reinforcement as well. Let them know they're doing the right thing, and encourage them when they are. And sometimes correction is still there, but not as the parent, just as now we're an incredible advisor in their life. So those are the things that you can say to people. I think you're an incredible mom. Hey, good job, mom. Single mom, being mom and dad to all of your kids. Good job, right? These are the things we can do to other people that really can make their day. Man, that guy has really grown in this job description he's got, this new appointment that he's in. Wow, he's really doing well. So and so took to this new position like a duck to water. That's incredible. Hey, you're doing a good job. I see you. I appreciate how dependable you are. You're always here on time or early every day. I really appreciate that. My friends love to make fun of me because I'm on Patrick Lee time. Whatever time I tell you I'm going to be there, it's usually 20 minutes later. And it never ceases to amaze me how I know it takes 15 minutes for me to get from point A to point B. But if I leave and give myself 15 minutes, 15 more minutes of distractions are going to get between me and my destination. So if I don't leave 30 minutes in advance, I'm not going to be on time. And it's just the nature of where I live and what I do and the business I'm involved in. I can think I have plenty of time to be there and just not. But they know I'm going to be there, right? That's the thing that most people don't understand about some people. They may not be at that minute, but you can count on them to be there. If they say they're coming, they're going to be there. So they laugh at me and they're like, hey, 20 minutes after, you're right on time. And I'm like, you know me. There you go. I'm here. You know I'm going to be here, right? But it's dependable. Like you can set your watch by Patrick Lee that 20 minutes after he's going to be here, right? So there you go. At least I'm on time with the show every week. I don't start the show 20 minutes after the hour. We start on time within a minute. So, but we think these things and we don't always say it out loud. And that is a missed opportunity to encourage somebody. Proverbs says this: pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healthy to the bones. Encouragement is powerful. It really is, because people often cannot see their own progress from the inside out. They notice what do you notice most about yourself? Your flaws. Every time you make a mistake. I used to be a singer, and every time I would miss a note or not come in exactly in the right point in the song, I'd beat myself up for it. And after that worship service or song or whatever would be over, and people would come up, say, what a wonderful job you did. And it's like, I'm beating myself up mentally, and they don't even notice those things, right? We see our own flaws more than other people do. We just need to be encouraged and told we're doing okay. We look okay and we're doing a good job, right? Every place we still need to improve, those are the things that we see inside. So maybe sometimes we just need to encourage that person and say maybe they're feeling like they're not adequate or they don't do a good job. But when we tell them that they are, we help them overcome some of those feelings inside, right? You may be standing outside someone's situation, able to see just how far they have come. Tell them. Don't wait until they retire from school or they graduate from school, or worse, a funeral, to say good things about people, right? A lot of people stand up on the stage and eulogize someone well, but people deserve to hear those things while they're still here. Send the text, make the compliment, make the call, walk across the room and be specific with somebody. I appreciate you because, hey, I've seen you grow in blah, 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 whatever it is. I've watched how you handle customers now, and you do that great with such character. In real estate, I tell people that frequently. I am so proud of you and how you have grasped a hold of the concepts of real estate, and you do such a good job with people. One of my agents was recently just voted in the neighboring town the best of the town again for like the 4th time in 6 years. And those are the things we're so proud of, because when they come to you and you say, okay, what direction do you want to go? What are your goals? It's like the clarity report that I used to share on here all the time. If you know what you want in life, you know how to get there. And when you start putting together plans and these people grow and you see that they get it, it's so easy to compliment them and say, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations on how well you have done and all of these concepts that you have grasped and grown and ran with, right? Those are good things to do. Generic compliments even feel good, but specific encouragement feels even better. And it's things that people carry for years. I shared with you years ago when I was a box boy or a sacker in a supermarket. And this store manager told all of us kids one day, he goes, walk fast like you know where you're going, right? Keep your head down and work hard and act like you got some sense. I mean, these are such things that I've carried with me for life. But then at almost every job after that, right, throughout my life, people would say, I can see that you're a person of, you're very driven. And I'm like, thank you. That means a lot. Or you just keep your head down and work. I'm like, yes, that's what I do. And they're like, that's amazing that you have the ability to do that, or the stick-to-itiveness to do it, the drive or the tenacity to do that. And it's just like, hey, that's who we become as people. And when you notice that about someone, we should tell them, right? Proverbs chapter 16 says, pleasant words are as honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones. And we said that again. Solomon uses that image of honey because encouraging words do more than just sound nice. They nourish something inside of you as well. Did you know honey is one of the most perfect foods you can eat? Yes, it's sweet, I know, but it's that honey is like it's like a superfood. I think that's what they call that, right? Gina says, living on Patrick time. I caught that comment. That's it. Living on Patrick time. That's what people do. If you see something good in someone, don't make them guess. Point number 3, do something unexpected. Oh, okay. Something powerful about surprising someone with kindness. Kindness that arrives without warning. When you buy someone's coffee, when you leave the bigger tip, when you bring lunch to the coworker who never leaves their desk, when you care enough to send the very best, right? What do? You send a Hallmark. Send a handwritten note. I'm a note lover. When someone sends me a thank you note, I have a drawer full of them. I have a couple of them on my refrigerator right now and a couple of them on my bar right now. Thank you cards. And my wife will come across these as I'm going through things and we're sorting out mail and notes. She'll say, what's this? I'm like, oh, wow, that was a thank you card I got from so-and-so. And she'll open it up and she's like, oh, that is so sweet. I'm like, I know. I just love those positive reinforcements really make me feel good. So I'm in real estate now. I have a service. It's called Real Satisfied. And when someone closes the property with me, my service will reach out to them and say, hey, how did you feel about Patrick's service? Did he do a good job? And they'll send me a note, and it blows my mind. I have another Facebook page just called the Patrick Lee 63, and all of these Real Satisfied referrals go onto that page on Facebook. And then whenever I get those in, I immediately send them a coffee. It's like, hey, listen, thank you for saying something nice to me. Let me do something nice for you. So I'll send them a gift card for a coffee or something else and a personal note to just say, thank you. I appreciate you. These are all really inexpensive or free things we can do to make someone's day. Mowing, I had to pause on this one because I'm guilty of doing this and I don't want to say it too much. Mowing someone else's yard. I like mowing grass. I should start a lawn mowing business, but I don't need all of y'all calling me saying, hey, come mow my yard for free. That's not how this works. When you see someone's yard, a neighbor's yard, maybe it's getting overgrown, and they, for some reason, maybe their mower's broke or they've been sick or they can't get to it, just mow their grass. When you're mowing your neighbor's grass and they're a friend and their yard borders up to your yard and you've got 10 feet of grass on your side and there's a strip of 3 feet, why don't you just mow that too? Do you always, if they don't mind and you've done it before, just go ahead and mow their grass. Maybe it's just making an introduction to somebody that could help them in their business. Hey, I know so-and-so and they're good at this and I think you and so-and-so would be great friends, and make that introduction. It could help them in their business. Pick up the phone and call someone simply because they crossed your mind today. All of these, I'm giving you the easy stuff today. I'm telling you, these things may seem small, but small gestures become powerful when they arrive at the exact moment someone needed them. The minute someone needs encouragement may be the minute that you simply do that. You encourage them and you tell them the sweet thing. Paul told the Galatians, he wrote a whole book about it. He told them not to become weary in doing good. And then specifically said, whenever we have opportunity, we should do good to all people. Notice that word, opportunity. Whenever we see that, I've done entire shows on how to recognize opportunity, right? They happen to us all the time. Opportunities to bless people are happening all around us every day, but we miss them when we're self-absorbed and caught up in our own mind. Waiting for something dramatic before we say something nice to somebody. Waiting for the perfect moment to show kindness to someone when they need it. They need it now. There's never a perfect moment. Just do it. Do it now. Right? Kindness doesn't need a spotlight. Generally it needs to be a private moment. But when you can do that, a third-party referral or an act of kindness in public, and lift that person up in front of others, it even means more. But a lot of times it means a lot when you do it privately. You just need to act when you see the opportunity. Sometimes people used to say, man, they will do whatever at the drop of the hat. And I would add, and sometimes I'll even drop the hat, right? You're waiting for that moment to do something. Sometimes you just create the opportunity yourself, right? You just need to act when you think about it. Create the opportunity. You never know that $10 you spent on a little gift. Maybe it's a candle. Maybe it's a drink. Maybe it's just buying someone an energy drink or buying someone's coffee. Whatever that is, when you do that during someone's day, you never know what it's going to do to change it, right? Don't underestimate what God can do with something simple placed in the right hands at the right time. Because we do what we can do, and then He does what only He can do, right? If we do not faint, as the Bible says in Galatians, let us not be weary in doing well. In due season we shall reap a harvest if we faint not. As we have opportunity, let us do good to everyone. Paul was encouraging the believers not to become tired of doing good things, simply because the results are not always evident immediately. We keep doing good because opportunities matter, right? Small acts become big memories when they arrive at the right moment. And then point 4, start a ripple you may never see. When you drop that pebble into a pond of still water, right, it creates a ripple, and maybe you don't ever see the edge of how far that ripple reaches, but someone else will see it. This may be my favorite part of today's show. Like I said, it's a simple show, but it's the easy things that you can do. This could be the best part of it. You may never know where one good decision ends. Maybe you encourage a waitress who has been having a terrible shift. Because you treated them kindly, she goes home with a better attitude towards her children or her spouse. Maybe you're kind to somebody who doesn't have to go by the bar and get drunk before he goes home. These are real life situations that real people go through, right? You change someone's attitude with these simple acts of kindness. And the ripple effect of that may be something you never see, but it changes that person's life. Maybe your belief in a person, maybe it's in an employee that you've had to let go, but you've shared with them the exit interview. I believe in you, and while you are no longer going to be a fit for this company, I see something in you that will, if you can continue to develop that, you're going to be a great person down the road. I was watching AGT, right, last night, America's Got Talent. There are a couple of kids on there singing, some brothers, and they're amazing singers. They were a little nervous. And their recommendation from all the coaches was literally that. And I'm so encouraged by that when I see some of these. When the coaches and the judges and the people on these shows say, hey, listen, I see something in you. I see talent in you. I think you need a little more experience. I think your nerves got a little bit of hold of you. And I would urge you to keep doing what you're doing and come back next year because I think you're going to be a star. And many times on The Voice and these other shows, that person comes back next year or 2 years later and they get a seat. And some of them have gone on to be not on the show, and then they come back 2 years later and they've won the show because they've gone and improved on themselves. And while they may not be a great fit for you today, if you build up that in that person, encourage them, they continue to move forward and they get better and better and better. Years later, after I have fired people in the past, and those people have gone on and become very successful. Was it because I fired them? Maybe. I think everyone needs to be fired once. And this may sound like a hard statement, but I do believe that. I think everybody needs to be fired from one job at least one time because it gives us cause to pause, self-reflect, dig deep, and find out I need to learn how to take correction. I need to know how to be responsible for doing my job properly and that people mean what they say. And I have been fired once, and I had an active agreement with another employer at the same time for us to part ways, which was not a firing, but it was an adamant decision between both of us. We are no longer going to work together. And these things have helped shape who I am today. Right? Years later, the person I became, the leader I have become, a lot of it was because of these decisions, these situations that you've gone through in the past. So make those statements today, make those decisions today, and pour into those people today. And then years later, they can become the leader who will remember when someone believed in them and maybe made the hard conversation to help them. Maybe you help a stranger who never even learns your name and they decide to help the next person they meet. You see those videos from time to time. One act of kindness leads to another. That's the ripple effect, right? And we see that happen time and time again. Jackie says, yep, always walk in love and bless somebody. Jackie's one of those people, man. Jackie, you're such an amazing lady. It's awesome. Always so kind and so motivated and positive. That's the ripple effect. You have that in other people. Jesus told his followers to let their light shine before others so people would know that they're doing good and they glorify God, right? Light doesn't make noise. It simply changes the environment it shines in, right? That's a writer downer. You may never receive credit for the good you start, and that's okay. We're not doing it for applause. We're doing it because the world's better when people intentionally bring light into other people's lives. When you shine your light into a dark place, you're making the world a better place. One encouraging word can travel farther than you ever imagined. One act of generosity can create another act. One person deciding to live differently can infect an entire family. The book of Matthew chapter 5 verse 16 says, let your light shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Say, that's a good man. That's a good woman right there. They consistently go around doing good things. That's what we need in this life. More good people. Jesus is teaching us through this that our lives should visibly reflect goodness in a way that points beyond us. What we do can influence people we may never fully know. You may never see the end of the ripple you started with one good decision or one good comment. And in my first closing of the show today, I want to make this incredibly practical. Before your head hits the pillow tonight, this is your challenge. Before your head hits the pillow, make one person's day better. One person. You don't have to go launch a nonprofit and start a 501c3. You don't have to do that. You don't have to write a check for thousands of dollars and pay to get somebody out of debt. I'm not asking you to do that. You don't have to solve someone's biggest problem. We're not here to solve the problems of the world all at once. But if you notice somebody, say a good thing about them out loud. Do something unexpected. Create a ripple. Maybe it takes 30 seconds. Maybe it costs you $5. Maybe it costs you nothing. Maybe it's just a phone call you've been meaning to make for 6 months. Why don't you do it today? Because somebody around you may be having one of the hardest days they've had in a long time, and you may have no idea. Your smile, your encouragement, your generosity, your patience, your kindness, whatever it is that you share with that person could become the moment they've been waiting for. And it reminds them that there is still good in the world. I watched a story yesterday. this lady was a youth director at for children's church at a big church, and a young boy came to her and said, "Hey, ma'am, I want to tell you something." And she said, "Okay." He goes, "I don't think I believe in God anymore." And she, of course, didn't overreact. She just said, "Well, why do you feel that way?" He said, "I just don't see him and I don't feel him. He hasn't shown me he's real." And she said, "Okay, I totally understand and respect your feelings. I believe that God is real, and I can understand that you may not feel that." She said, "But before you make that," and this kid is like 8 years old, and she said, "Before you make that a statement about your life," or the way she said it was super sweet. She said, "Before you decide to adopt that as your moving forward thought in life that God is not real, I just want you to pray. Will you do me a favor?" And he said, "Yes." She said, "I would just like for you for the next week. I just want you to ask God to show you that He's real. Would you do that for me?" And then next week when we talk again, and you still don't think God is real, that's your choice, and you can decide what you want to do at that time. And then he said, "Okay." And then he would come to her each day there at this church. It was a church school, and he would come up to her teacher. I've asked God to show me that He's real, and nothing. I don't believe God is real." She said, "I understand. You just keep praying, or you keep talking to God, and you just ask Him to show you that He's real." And this went on 6 days. Then on the seventh day, he came up, and they're giving testimonies in this class. And she said, "We just want to share, people to come up and share maybe what God has done for them this week." And the little boy raised his hand, and she was a little tentative and said, "Come on up." And he came up and told her, I don't think God is real." And she said, "I understand. Can you explain why?" And he said, "Well, I've been telling God every day to show me that He's real, and I just haven't seen anything. And then yesterday, I just told Him, if you're real, I want a deer to come across my path. Just make a deer come across my path, and then I'll believe you're real." He said, "And then you know what happened?" And she said, "No, what happened?" He said, "A guy rode by on his John Deere tractor." And she immediately thought, "Okay, well, it's a deer. It's a John Deere tractor." And maybe this kid was going to use it as a means to his thought process and say, God is not real. But his face light lit up, and he said, "I don't think God is real. I know God is real because a deer came across my path, and I wanted Him to show me that He was real." And to him, that was real. God showed him a deer came across his path. He saw it. He recognized that it was God answering his prayer. So that's in a childlike manner, that story was so uplifting. It changed his whole mindset about God. And the simple thing is, we can't underestimate the influence of the statement that we make, or the story that we tell, or the encouragement that we give somebody. That person, it's up to them to decide what that means to them. To that little boy, that John Deere tractor meant God was real to him. It was Him showing him, I'm real. You wanted a deer to cross your path. Here's a deer crossing your path. It's a John Deere tractor. And to that boy, that's all it meant. And he knew that God was real in his life. Here's what I've learned from stories like this. When you start looking for opportunities to make someone else's day, something changes in your day too. So go find somebody, encourage them. Share that story. That's a great story, right? John Deere tractor changed that little boy's life. Encourage people. Share the good thing out loud. Bless them. Make them laugh. Encourage them. Tell them they matter, and start a ripple effect you may never live long enough to see the end of. Thank you for spending part of your Wednesday morning with me here on Midweek Motivation Live. Remember, when comfort ends, courage begins. What do we say? Make your move. I'm going to keep going on and making mine. I'm going to jump right back into my midweek morning jams here and start producing the show and getting it on the air for all of the rest of you. And we'll hit this in Buzzsprout later. It'll be on YouTube later. If you guys don't know, we have a YouTube channel as well. Midweek Motivation Live is on all major podcast platforms and the Midweek Motivation Live YouTube channel. We have hundreds of episodes online. You can find us on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you go to consume your podcast and personal development content. You can find Midweek Motivation Live. So like, love, share the show. Don't be a schmo. I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you soon. I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming today.